Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what, I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one
quarter
too.
pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host Dave.
And John.
And yes, you can tell by the tone in our voice we're not happy this week because
Blame it on JD.
we had to fulfill JD's promise and finish off our Superman 3 talk with Superman 4. So, of course, joining us again from the Gorilla Brain podcast, the one and only 8-Bit Ray. How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. And thank you for acknowledging the one and only, because there is only one me. Appreciate that.
Yes, and then joining us from the Omega Level Nerds podcast, the often imitated but never duplicated,
And not the one and only.
D Square. How are you?
Doing awesome, sir. Had a great week.
Yeah. So how's everyone doing? Let's see how everyone is doing with this cold weather and Christmas coming and Thanksgiving, and how many fights over gravy were there? Let's start with.
Sorry, good.
Let's start with Don. Since you said you had a great week.
Yeah. We had 2 Thanksgivings, so that's always nice. And the second Thanksgiving, my sister did not time the turkey right, so the turkey wasn't done until basically after we were done eating, but there was ham there, which I'm actually trying to advocate us just doing ham from now on in the family, because, I mean, turkey's okay, but I don't know. I want ham as the new Thanksgiving feast. So we did that and a bunch of fishing. I was actually out there fishing today in this cold, so enjoying it, loving it.
All right, so you're anti-American because you want ham over turkey. I get it.
Hey, that's all right.
How about you, Ray? How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, since I'm not the one and only anymore, I also had 2 Thanksgivings and a half one today. I've had a couple Thanksgivings. First one was the Spanish one. We did it at my mother-in-law's across the field. And then the second one we did Friday. So we got the turkey, the gravy, the cranberries, all that good stuff. And then earlier for lunch, I had leftovers on my leftovers. So 2.5 Thanksgivings out of the year is not a bad thing.
No, it is not. Yeah, I must have a lot to be thankful for.
Oh, absolutely. I'm thankful that I get to watch Superman 3 and 4 back to back and come on here and talk about it. Oh, man.
That's what you're
So
grateful for? How horrible was the rest of your year? I mean,
Hey, keep this up and we're going to go right to social media madness. Okay?
all right. I have been chastised.
Well, John, since you are the expert on things that are horrible, how was your week?
My brother-in-law put the gravy boat down, took a step back with a glint in his eye, said, "This is all the gravy there is." And the ensuing fight with my family was epic. So on top of that, I did go with my 3 nephews, three of my nephews, to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife again. And it still holds up. I'm going to probably go see it again before it's out of theaters, maybe, or I'll, if they put it out on demand immediately or soon, I'll probably watch it at least one more time. It's still great. All 3 of my nephews, one's 13, one's 11, one's 6. They all loved it. So, kudos all around to like everybody involved with that show.
Are their names Huey, Dewey, and Louie?
No, I just call minions and they come running.
Oh, okay.
A missed opportunity not to be.
I know. Right?
I'm still confused on the problem with the gravy. How do you not have enough gravy? Like, was
That
it an
was-
Ethiopian Thanksgiving?
Once we cleaned up the bodies, that's what we asked my brother-in-law. So-
Someone is on tonight. That's all I'm gonna say. How about how about you, JD?
Gravy is disgusting, so it wouldn't be a problem in my house.
Oh my God.
It's gross. It's all gross and it's full of gluten and it's not tasty and it's terrible and it's everything wrong with food. So would not have been an issue for me. Thanksgiving was fine. It was fine, no problems. Let's talk about what's important. My wrestling team, started the week off 5th in the state. We wrestled the 4th ranked team in the state, beat them by 50 points, and we end the weekend ranked 35th in the country. So nice. I'm feeling really freaking good about that at the moment. So yeah, that's all I care about. Family is whatever. Wrestling season is here.
Wait, didn't you take your son to see a movie for the first time?
Oh yeah, that's right. We had a big emotional bonding experience that I forgot about.
Against a wrestler.
Yeah, we went and saw Ghostbusters. My wife and I took Andy to his first movie. He had never been to the theater before. We had a big long talk about it, and because I want to take him to a wrestling show too, a pro wrestling show later in the winter. And so we decided to take him to a movie, see if he could actually sit through it, because he's got some ants in the pants issues. And he was great. He sat through the whole movie. He had his Sour Patch Kids and his apple juice. And I checked in on him in the movie. He goes, Daddy. And then he kept asking me for spoilers after we're all. He's like, what's going to happen here? Is Egon a ghost? Like he just kept, he had a blast. He loved going to the movies. I actually enjoyed Ghostbusters the second time around even more than I did the first. Like I picked up on some stuff. It's really a well-made movie. And the more I watch it, the more I'm like, you know what? It does owe a lot more to other movies of the era, like Gremlins or American Werewolf in London, stuff like that, like thematically and visually more so than it does to Ghostbusters, right? It really very much is a different movie with a lot of the same undertones, and it's much more of a quote unquote family story than the first film, So I had a great time. Good weekend.
Yeah. And if Andy can sit through it, and my 6-year-old nephew can just sit through it, where normally I'm very aware that he's there. I mean, we sat down, we watched the movie, and I got up. It's like, that was it. Like he never moved.
Yeah.
So that's
same. My guy came and sat in my lap twice. And other than that, I liked it. So I mean, it wasn't like that was an issue. Like he was really good. So I was really proud of him. So I'm gonna take him to a wrestling show and we'll see how that goes.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a little longer than a movie, isn't it?
About 3 hours.
Yeah.
We'll see how he handles it. It's a lot louder. It's a lot more, I don't know, a lot more people. Like, and that's another.
It's a lot more energy. It's a lot more energy too.
A lot more energy. We'll see how, but he's got a lot more energy. So we'll see
well, I mean, at a wrestling show, you're supposed to get up out of your seat, cheer for your people. So it's not so much a big thing that he would, be a little eccentric there.
It isn't. I'm worried about him wanting to wrestle me in the middle of the show. Like, let's wrestle and get all excited. That's my
jump in the barricade.
That's a concern. That's why I made sure we got at the highest seats possible,
there you go.
To deter him from jumping. So we'll see if that works. Dave, how was your weekend?
Pretty good. Went to my brother-in-law's for Thanksgiving this year, and we're on our way down and just talking about like, I got, because he picked me up a little later than he said he was going to, and then he was like, I'm like, oh, so I guess the turkey's already in the oven. No. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, you have everything for the stuffing? And I'm like, I was rattling off the ingredients. And then he looks at me and he's like, oh, I forgot, this, I forgot that. And then did we lose JD? No. Okay. And then, so long story short, I ended up having to make the stuffing because none of them remembered how my mother-in-law used to make it. And I made the gravy, JD. I'm sorry. And yes, there was flour in it, so you couldn't have any.
Yeah, but you can't mimic like elders' recipes, right? Like my grandmother would say, make a tea. Oh, put a pinch of salt or a pinch of sugar. Like a pinch? What measurement is a pinch?
They're Italian. Those are Italian measurements.
It is.
Right.
Very much so. So, but yeah, no, I mean, we had a good time though. We all enjoyed ourselves, ate way too much as usual. And of course we had leftovers 2 days afterwards. But yeah, other than that, started my Christmas shopping. Hate this time of year. the between holiday shopping. So
I'm a bad person. I choose to do all my shopping on Amazon because I just don't want to deal with people.
Oh, see, like yesterday, here's a local reference that John's the only one that's going to get. My girlfriend and I went to New Hope and did some Christmas shopping there.
The movie, the Star Wars.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars.
No,
it's a town in Pennsylvania. It's a town in Pennsylvania. It's about an hour north of Philadelphia, and it's like one of those old-fashioned kind of towns, like on Main Street, and it's just all these little independent stores. And you go up and down and you do shopping there.
There's good shopping all the time there, but during Christmas, it's,
Yeah. So, and I mean, everyone had all the Christmas stuff out too. And it was a lot of little toy shops I could get stuff for my grandkids. So, yeah, no, it was fun. But it was, it was being a little too social. Okay. So, so when I think of being social, I think of social media madness. No, not feeling the segue.
Nice try.
I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I didn't put anything.
Okay, so first off, we talked about Kevin Feige announced that Scarlett Johansson is coming back for a secret Marvel project. We asked our audience what they thought it could be, and Call Me Tony, who's at Wooder Hall Pro, said this announcement comes at roughly the same time as confirming significant reshoots for the Doctor Strange sequel. Does that mean anything?
No.
Who knows?
No, absolutely not. Doctor Strange is wrapped. Not wrapped, but it's a majority done. They're not going back for any reshoots.
Why are we still
no
what reshoots are? Like all these movies have significant reshoots.
Yeah, I know.
The script's not even done when they're making them. They're still writing these things as it goes. Like they don't know what these things are.
Agreed. Yeah, we've talked about that before. Yeah, like anytime reshoots in the last couple of years happens, they like make a big deal. But I think because of what happened with Justice League, but it's like no, all these movies have reshoots. Go ahead.
The only reason I would think that reshoots would make any kind of difference these days is because Black Panther 2 has been pushed off because what's her name,
Letitia, right?
She got hurt.
But really hurt, like apparently worse than they let on.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
They've suspended production.
She was the one who didn't want to get the COVID vaccine, right? She was anti.
Yeah, she's anti-vax and mask and everything. So they're kind of trying to.
Did she get it? Was that what happened? Did she actually catch the thing?
No. She got hurt doing a stunt.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that on the show?
No.
I think we mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't really talk about it. Not at length.
Well, that's different, right? Like if a cast member gets crippled or something like that on set, you gotta rebuild.
Right, but the thing is with Black Panther, like since these are shown in a certain order, if they've suspended Black Panther 2 yet again, that's they might reshoot whatever else they're working on to work around plot points that they're.
Need to remind you that Doctor Strange is supposed to be out like almost 2 years ago. At this point. So here we are.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
The ODPH podcast said Thunderbolts / Dark Avengers project to try saving Yelena.
I'll be honest with you. If we can do Thunderbolts, I'm on board with that.
Yes, I think we've said that.
We have talked about that. I like the Busick version, but I also think the Bendis / Ellis version would be cool.
Yeah,
because that's just basically Marvel's Suicide Squad. But I do like I have a soft spot for the Busick version.
Ray likes Bendis, don't you?
Don't start. Don't start.
Which I have to like Bendis because like he's from Cleveland, so I have to rep Bendis.
Is that a rule?
I like Bendis. Not all of his stuff, but I like a lot of his stuff.
I mean, that's true. It's because like if you're from Philly, you have to like Will Smith.
Yeah, right. Well, Jeffrey Dahmer was from fucking Ohio. Aren't you from Ohio, Don? I like him too.
Yeah.
Dude, John Wayne Gacy grew up in my mom's neighborhood, so
we really appreciate his work. He's from Ohio.
You understand there's a stark difference between Bendis and someone that ate people.
Yeah.
That's true. Dahmer, he only had a certain body count. Bendis kills universes and comic runs.
Whole universes.
A little bit.
He has killed a lot of characters. So when you say that,
it's a little bit of
there's a body count. It did.
You ever read what was it? Ultimatum? Was it Ultimatum where he killed everybody?
Ultimatum was that was Loeb.
He had like blob eating wasp, didn't he? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, that was Jeff Loeb who did that one.
Oh yeah.
Man, no, Bendis came in. It was a 5-parter. It like pretty much ended the Ultimate Universe, and he killed everybody. Like, we need to end the world. Let's bring Bendis in.
Yeah.
We need to end DC Comics. Let's get Bendis over here.
Oh my goodness.
He's a herald.
And then finally, Mike Rez, blue check mark in parentheses.
That's funny. I like that.
Said Bizarro Black Widow.
I think he's confusing his universes there.
Slightly,
yes, a little bit. But they said she wasn't going to be playing Black Widow, so there you go, Bizarro Black Widow. Oh, that was bad. We talked about the announcement of Ridley Scott doing a Blade Runner TV show.
We all said why. Yes, that was our collective.
No, I'm just saying, fuck Ridley Scott. I'm not a fan right now.
Yeah,
I was until he started running his fucking mouth.
Yeah, I'll agree. Love the alien stuff, but I saw his last movie, The Last Duel, with Adam Driver.
He put out 2 movies, and they both failed.
Yeah.
So he's taking out,
and he's blaming it. Yeah,
he's blaming it on everybody.
Smartphones.
Blaming it on millennials. And
Fuck, what a great hill to die on. Hey, the thing everyone loves and has and camps we can't live without? Fuck that.
You know that device that you just sent that tweet on, Ridley Scott?
Right.
Yeah, fuck.
Right.
What's funny is him blaming people like his work is the equivalent of like Kubrick or something like that. Like he made nothing but smart films his whole life. Come on, man.
That's not true. He made Alien.
Oh, I know. I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
Like that's what he was doing. Like he acts like he was Kubrick or something like that.
Yeah, he wishes. I appreciate Ridley Scott for all the work that he's put in over the years.
I think when you get to a certain level of full of yourself.
Oh yeah,
and he's old. He's in his 80s, for God's sakes. Like, kudos to the man for continuing to work at this level, but he's an old crabby man. Like, who cares?
I think our good friend Randy Savage said it best when he said, "I'll probably still watch all those shitty superhero things he hates before I even consider turning on Banging Androids Volume 5 or whatever he's calling it now."
That's a great joke, actually, because that's perfect.
We love you, Randy. And then finally, we reviewed Ghostbusters Afterlife last week, and my only minor complaint about the movie was continuing the flat top look from for Gozer from the original Ghostbusters, and this guy D Square chimed in and said
that guy
they kept the hair so that Pete could call her flat top. My favorite line in the movie.
Absolutely. Loved it. He said the same thing in the first one. And as soon as I saw her, she still had the old 80s, hairdo going on. I'm like, I got to hear it. And sure enough, the first thing you hear out of any original Ghostbusters, Peter Venkman saying, "Hey, flat top." Right on cue. I loved it.
And it still took Ray a second to say, yes, he was a god.
Right, yes.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes. That's my favorite line from the first movie. All right. Well, that, guys, is it for Social Media Madness this week. So John can unclench and
I can turn my earphones on now? Is it?
And if you want to know how you can follow us on social media and be part of Social Media Madness and follow some other great podcasts, here's our good friend D Squared to tell you more.
Oh wait, okay.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of Social Media Madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, you can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at SuperheroSpeak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at @stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for #GWAllstars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak. So let it just, roll.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Don. And while you're actually here, why don't you tell people where they can find the Omega Level Nerds podcast?
Yes, well, the first thing you would need to do is go on Twitter at Omega Level Nerds, and our profile is right there. Our YouTube link on the profile, so follow that. We don't have 100 subscribers yet, so I can't give you a personal URL, but please check us out there. You can also check out my personal YouTube page. Again, going to have to go to Twitter at DSquare72. Link in the profile. I have done a little bit of rebranding. I'm now the Comics and Gamer Boomer. And I actually put out like a 5-minute Symphony of the Night video. And let me tell you, for me, it was a pretty big video. So I might be Symphony of the Night Boomer. We'll see about that. But so if you could, just want to take this time to ask a favor of anyone. If you could go there and give me some subscribes, that would be awesome. Thank you very much in advance.
We're Gen Xers. We're not boomers. Come on.
I don't know. We're boomers to the right people. We're boomers to the right people.
Yeah, we're boomers to anyone who don't understand.
I don't know about you guys. I'm a millennial.
Oh, screw you, JD.
Sorry.
You are the what's wrong with this world.
Dad,
Ray,
is that you?
And Ray, while you're here, why don't you tell people where they can find the Gorilla Brain podcast?
Oh, I'm not revealing my age to anybody.
That old, huh? Okay.
85.
Younger than me.
What does that put me in? Millennial or?
It puts you younger than me. That's all you need to know.
Gen X?
Puts you whatever classification some fucking website puts out there one day.
Yeah,
Gen X,
true.
Gen X Zoom Millennial. That's what I'll go as.
Okay.
I'm right in the middle. Yeah, you can find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those amazing little podcast apps and catchers that this distribute the show. Yeah, so I mean, if you like movie commentaries and things like that, interesting in-depth interviews, and just a variety hour of things, then definitely stop on by and check it out. Give a subscribe, give a 5-star review, as Joey DeCarlo would say. And yeah, man, check out the Twitch channel, 8-Bit Ray, where I will not be streaming Symphony of the Night for that cough loan. And and that's about it. So back to you, Dave.
All right. Well, now that you have other great podcasts to check out, before we move on, we're going to take our first commercial break and we'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it.
We're back.
Should not have put rum in this green tea.
Hey, he's stealing my shtick.
I was going to say, John.
A bad idea.
I had a glass of wine just before we came on, so I should have brought the good whiskey, but
all right.
I mean, it's only Superman 4. Jeez, you ain't got to go that hard.
All right, we only have a couple of news articles to talk about this week because we got to really get into the Superman 4 stuff. The first one being DC has a new movie coming to the theaters next year. I know that we've all been looking forward to this, guys. It is the DC League of the Super Pets.
Is that like fucking Paw Patrol? What is that?
Pretty much.
Did you guys have a chance? Hey, look, it stars the greatest action comedy duo of our generation, The Rock and Kevin Hart. No. So I mean, it's the voices of dogs.
So I know you guys are gonna shit on this, but I got a 5-year-old that's super fired up to watch this movie.
No, I know.
We're not the target audience. I'm going to have to sit through this eventually, but it'll mildly entertain me. And at some point, I need Henry Cavill to tell Black Adam that he sounds like his dog, right? Don't we need that? Doesn't that write itself?
Yeah.
Well, you for most normal humans, but the writers at Warner.
I mean, it's there. I don't know why they wouldn't. They're going to. Isn't it weird that Dwayne Johnson becomes the first person to be 2 characters in the DC universe?
Oh my God. I didn't even think of it that way until you just said it.
Huh.
He's Crypto and Black Adam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
I don't think this movie's connected to the larger DC universe movies.
Nothing is connected. I mean, like they don't even know what's connected to these.
It doesn't exist.
That's what they need a joke with Henry Cavill making a joke when he meets Black Adam that you sound like my dog. Boom. It's over.
They can't afford to connect anything because like 90% of what they're putting out is going to fail. So you don't.
They should have got Henry Cavill to do the voice of Superman in the movie.
They should have.
Yes.
Why didn't they? That's the question.
Because the Henry Cavill's not working with them right now. We're
he's very anti DC right now.
We're in a thing. right?
weren't a thing.
It's like a Taylor Swift song.
They're
We're
on a
working our way
break.
through it.
I got
We're on
it.
a break.
Okay.
You know, we're never ever getting back together, except maybe we get a story every other week that we will.
Yeah.
I was going to go with Bad Blood, but I like it.
Bad Blood,
I
that
like
works. Okay. Yeah.
Nice.
No, you know who the voice
Taylor-
of Superman is?
Who is the voice?
The man
Gene
everyone wants to play. Reed
I know
Richards.
I hate it.
Oh, John Krasinski?
Yep.
Oh, that's good casting. I'm okay with that.
I did not recognize it, but I did hate it. But I will second you there, JD, with Children of My Own. I will say we can poo-poo this all we want. I know I certainly did in my head, but it has animals in it. And they can pretty much sell anything with talking animals these days, at least to my kids.
It's crypto.
Yeah, you that Lego shit. You can do anything with Legos, then and kids will watch it and love it. So
Yeah.
I guess I can't hate on it too much. It's just not me. It's not my demographic.
Right.
There'll be a
There you
certain
go.
level that they have to there's a certain bar that they have to get past. It's very low.
Well, you got to
But
look
they
at
still
And they keep smacking their head on that bar
That's true.
repeatedly.
Yeah.
But this is how you make the next generation of fans, right? Like you get a bunch of little kids in to watch the crypto movie. Crypto, that song's gonna make a completely difference. It's like I'm selling you Bitcoin. Like you get a bunch of kids who watch this, and then all of a sudden they like superheroes and they become lifelong fans. And in 30 years they're hosting nerd podcasts like this. Like you need these type
All
of
right.
content.
We want to see something? I could sell a ticket to John right now.
Tell them there's alcohol.
No, the Justice League is
Open
also-
bar.
The Justice League makes an appearance in this movie, and Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman.
Well, there you go.
So they got Kevin Conroy, but they couldn't. Okay.
Kevin Conroy has no problem playing Batman. He'll just do it.
True. At this point, it's just an easy paycheck.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I think they're contractually obligated to offer him first.
Probably at this point. Yeah. So I don't know. I might catch it on HBO Max when it comes out for free. But
How old are your granddaughters now? They 3 yet?
3 and 1.
Yeah. Okay, they're a little young, so you're gonna miss this one.
Yes. Yeah, they're still too little to go to the movie theater. So
The Rock really can do anything, can he?
The Rock really does do anything.
He wrestles, he raps, he sings. What can he do?
He makes julienne fries.
I mean, like,
He will
He
run
makes
with
Jungle
it.
Cruise tolerable. Like what is this man?
Jungle
He's
Cruise
made
was
us completely
far more
different.
entertaining than it had any right to be. I'll say that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing he can't do. I mean, he started to get cool in wrestling by joining what could be considered like an anti-white stable in
It was
in
the anti. It was
WWE.
the nation
Right.
of domination. It absolutely was.
Absolutely, Nation of Domination, and like it didn't matter. Did not matter. We loved him.
Yeah, he was great.
I'll tell you one thing that he can't do:
What's that?
make a movie that doesn't have a jungle in it.
Shazam.
Black Adam's coming out. Yeah,
We don't know that it doesn't have a jungle in it yet.
Schrodinger's jungle at this point.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Rundown had a jungle.
Rundown did have a
Jungle
jungle.
Cruise jungle.
Scorpion
Uh,
King did not have a jungle.
No, technically there was a jungle because
or
of that,
good CGI.
that patch of Eden where it was like a jungle in the middle of the desert.
Okay, I'll allow it.
There was,
Jumanji.
Jumanji.
Do
Jungle.
Hobbs and Shaw have a jungle? I've never seen those. movies.
Yes,
They
at the
could
end,
have.
they're in a jungle.
Yes.
Is it jungle?
They're in a jungle.
Oh, great! Yeah, when you think muscle cars and performance vehicles, you think jungle.
Of course.
oh my god.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. Has he ever been in a movie without a jungle in it?
I told you.
Did his GI Joe film have a jungle?
It probably
didn't see
did.
it.
I'm not,
Probably
I'm
did,
not
yeah.
second guessing
That's
at this point.
There's a lot, but there's a huge jungle to non-jungle ratio for his films.
Better run through the jungle. I'm sorry. I like Creedence Clearwater, and I
They
All
probably
right.
pitch it. They probably pitch him like, hey, Dwayne, we got this movie idea, right? Well, what's gonna happen? Well, we're gonna go to the jungle. I'm in. I didn't even tell you the plot. I don't care. I'm in. I have a
And-
stigma. Go to the jungle.
The Rock has only one question: is there a jungle? Then The Rock is here, baby. Let's go.
Yep. Jungle boogie.
If not, can there
bring
be?
it.
Can you smell the jungle? The Rock is in.
Right.
Apparently, he has
Can
to.
you smell what the jungle is cooking?
So I guess we need the Jungle Book. He's the only one that could be in it. All
But
right.
didn't Schwarzenegger have the same gimmick? I'm just thinking of that now. Did
Yeah,
he
he
not
had
have
similar
the same?
gimmicks.
Wait, you know what? Terminator. There's no jungle in Terminator. That,
Or Jingle All the Way.
Concrete
right.
jungle.
Well,
Or-
yeah.
No,
Or
you're
Junior.
kidding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Running Man.
Yeah.
No jungle in the Running Man.
Yeah, there's no jungle in the Running Man.
That'll be remade soon. Guarantee it within
I'm
5 years.
astounded it
Well,
isn't.
when they remake it with The Rock, there will be a jungle in it.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. It'll
John,
be The Rock
I'm amazed that
He was
hasn't
attached to
happened.
that, wasn't he?
with
What?
Vince McMahon.
No, The Rock was
Oh,
attached
God.
to the Running Man remake, right?
He was attached to the Big Trouble in Little China remake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got
happened.
it.
But I don't think
He's
the
not
I
right
don't,
for that.
I don't think
Which will
they've
be in the
announced the
jungle.
running.
Big
I'm
Trouble
surprised.
in Little China will be in the jungle.
Yes, and the
Big
remake of
Trouble, Little Jungle.
the remake of the Running Man will just be
Jungle
called the Jungle Man.
Exactly.
It's there.
Starring
Zero.
Rock as Mowgli.
All right, I have a question. I know John's excited for this. Is anyone in the world interested in a Power Rangers universe of movies?
Why would you assume that I'd be interested?
I'm
in that?
kidding. It was a joke.
I'm going to be honest with you. I am interested. I am interested. I am highly susceptible to robots, even more so when they combine with other robots to make bigger, cooler robots.
Fair enough.
So, like when the Power Rangers came out, I was like 13, 14. I should not have been watching the show, and I could not. I had to see. So, with that said, I am excited because you look at what they're doing with them in the comics. We're like the Ninja Turtles and the Power Rangers share a universe.
Really?
And they've crossed over. Like
Yeah.
where the Ninja Turtles became the Power Rangers, like Shredder became like the
Oh.
Green Ranger. It was some
I
cool
thought
shit.
we were talking about the old TV show Power Rangers in Space when the Ninja Turtles came on.
That was a thing. Yeah.
Oh,
remember that.
yes, I remember that too. But no, I'm talking about recently in the comics though. It was Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles and a whole bunch of
Oh,
cool
that's cool.
shit. Like not to say we're going to see this in the universe, but I don't know. I'm still interested in this property, and I know that the big robots have a lot to do with it. But the recent IDW crossover with the Ninja Turtles kind of showed some cool stuff too. So I gotta say, I'm a guilty pleasure Power Ranger guy.
I liked Power Rangers when they first started. I was probably 12 or 13, but I was
Yeah.
a young man discovering himself, and the Pink Ranger was
Amy
Well,
Jo Johnson.
something.
Yeah.
Let me
Amy
tell
Jo
you.
Johnson was a gateway for a lot of guys.
Yes, sir. I have a lot of friends that are younger than me that were into Power Rangers. So I do think that there is a pretty good audience for this. Like there were a lot of people that were excited for the movie. I just don't know if the movie quite hit the mark or not. Again, I never saw it. I wasn't excited for it, but I knew a lot of people that were into the idea.
Volsker, who is my younger brother and much more into Power Rangers than I am, liked it and is totally annoyed that they're going to reboot it yet again. So that's all I can tell you there.
I don't think they stuck the landing though. I don't think it was a
No, it
overwhelming
didn't.
success. Yeah.
Just the look itself threw me off. To be honest with you, I didn't like the way it looked.
Actually,
so.
well, the evil queen sitting eating a donut. That's what killed me.
That's
Yeah,
what killed you of all the Power Ranger stuff. Her eating a donut is where you lost your sense of belief.
Well,
No, that's the whole thing. Is like
that's where the movie just lost me. That's all.
like the
Donut? Really?
the reboot concept wasn't bad, and like there are parts of it that are really good, and then there's things in there they throw in there that's like there must have been some kind of sponsorship from a donut
Krispy
company.
Kreme. Yeah.
Krispy Kreme, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And they kept talking about Krispy Kreme throughout this movie. It was so annoying.
Yeah,
Oh, was
but along with what you said, like there were good things, good concepts in it, like we're about to talk about Superman 4. But yeah, it started going schizo, right? Like it seemed like it was going to be serious, and then it got stupid.
Then it
You
got
know?
hokey, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
After 10,000 years, I'm free to eat the donut.
Yeah, exactly. Good one, Don.
Yes. Well, I mean, this also goes along like so they're rebooting it as a Netflix series, which might be better
I think it's a better idea actually.
than
It
trying
worked
to do
for
it.
Voltron.
The show's cool.
I know you don't agree, John, and I'm not
I
pointing in
like
the right
it.
direction, but
What?
I loved the Netflix Voltron. Well, you never said you didn't like it. You were just like,
I liked it
I
initially,
loved
but
it.
then it got a little bit. What I would really want to see. Do you remember that they did a concept trailer for Voltron with what's his name, the guy from Psych, the guy Lasseter from Psych. It's a short on YouTube, and it was a very serious take on Voltron, and it was just one scene with the guy Lasseter, the guy who plays Lasseter. I got to remember his name. Was piloting the red lion, and he was like the whole scene is just him in the lion as it's dying and him giving his last thoughts. And it was
What
like,
color suit did he wear? I know that's a strange question, but it's actually.
I think it was red.
Okay. Okay.
But the thing is that it was like, I mean, that if they made a movie like in that tone, hell, I'd watch the hell out of that. Yeah. But
that's my major problem with the original Voltron is that the colors of the suits did not match the lions, and I'll never know what happened. Like as Sven and Lance were running to their respective lions, did like Keith just go over and tackle one of them and decide he wanted the black lion like last minute, and then
it has to do with, I believe I heard something about that before. It has to do with Japanese colors and like red representing something about leadership, but yet they had colored the lion already. Like they had chose the so yeah.
Like Power Rangers matched up. Why did not Voltron?
Didn't Voltron, wasn't Voltron the original Voltron cobbled together from like a couple different cartoon shows?
There were three. No, there were three different cartoons, three different Voltrons.
Yeah, the Lion Force, the Vehicle Force, and the other one. But I mean, like, wasn't the original Voltron like actually like cobbled together from like two separate animated series that were edited together?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
By the way, it was Timothy Amundsen who played. He played Lassiter and Psyche. Yeah. Somehow these kids got a hold of him and had him do this really serious take on the red lion as it's dying. Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, that's cool.
Attached with this announcement as well, because it's Michael Lombardo who's going to be the showrunner on this stuff. These are Hasbro owned company properties, so Power Rangers. The other one being Dungeons and Dragons is going to get a Netflix series.
Well, we can hope.
And Monopoly is going to get a game show on Netflix. So, you know how you get into fist fights playing Monopoly at home? We can now get fist fights on TV.
Why are they going to have Monopoly as a show? That was almost as dumb of a concept as having Clue as a movie. Like, it made no absolute sense.
Clue
I like the movie.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, a Monopoly show, like, how long is it supposed to be?
They made Battleship.
Battleship was horrible.
I was going to say the worst game turned into a movie was Battleship.
Rampage was good, though. Rampage was kind of fun.
Wasn't The Rock in that?
Yes.
He was in the jungle. He got the ape from the jungle.
He was in the jungle. Yes.
There's plenty of jungle in that movie. Did John just sent us something?
Yeah, I just sent you. It's called The End. Voltron: The End. It's a live-action short directed by Alex Albrecht. So anyway.
So I'm right. They did take parts from different cartoons and edit them into the American version of Voltron.
Oh, the American. Okay.
Fair enough.
I see.
Thank you.
Oh, into the American version.
Yeah, I don't watch I can't listen to Japanese from the 80s when it's not been translated.
Dude, did you ever see Battle of the Planets? The American version. They got all the parts where the guy's sonic boomerang was cutting people's heads off, and they replaced it with a stupid robot that was done in a completely different animation
style. Oh my God! Yes,
yeah. It was horrible. It was like 3 frames a second at best, and
now there's people who like that version of the show. What was it called?
Because they grew up with it.
It was called Battle of the Planets.
Oh, Battle of the Planets is American.
G-Force.
G-Force is the Japanese version of it.
And they inserted this stupid 7 Zark 7 robot into it, done in a completely different, just so that the poor fragile American kids' minds didn't have to deal with people's heads getting cut off. Because the bad guys, you always just put them to sleep, I guess.
To be fair, Japan has had 2 nuclear strikes on it. So their minds are a little I get where they're coming from. We're not, American psyche. I get it.
Let me tell you something. An entire generation was scarred by the murder of a robot in the 1986 film of Transformers, the movie.
I was one of those. I cried.
As was I. So we as soft little Americans were not ready to see heads flying off of bodies in cartoons. They grow up tougher in Japan. They just do.
That's true. Agreed.
They grow up extra weird in Japan too, man. You ever watched Sentai Zio Ranger or any of the things that Power Rangers, took the stock footage from?
Super Sentai and all that.
Weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's weird. Really weird. Like in America, Tommy and Jason were enemies, but in Japan, they were brothers. And the Green and Red Ranger were brothers. So really, there were so many weird episodes. Like, think the Japanese Spider-Man show. You ever seen
he's got a giant robot and all that. Yep.
Right. like this shit just weird. Every show had a robot in Japan because Gundams and things like that. They're big on their mechs. I mean, they have an actual mech. They have an actual Gundam that moves.
Yeah. And in the meantime, they do Pokemon in America, and instead of having the voice actors call them rice cakes, they have to call them donuts because we can't handle rice cakes.
Oh, no one knows what a rice cake is, like, especially kids. They don't know what rice cakes are here.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Of all the things you need to like,
it's also.
Hey man, I've been reading Spider-Man for years. I don't know what the fuck a wheat cake is either. So I get where he's coming from.
It's a pancake.
No one calls them wheat cakes. I would like if had it not been for Spider-Man. Yeah, had it not been for Spider-Man, I'd have thought that was something you just made up right now.
See, you learned something though.
No one's ever had a wheat cake. I've never gone to breakfast and someone goes, "Would you care for some wheat cakes with your hash browns?"
Fuck is a wheat cake?
That's what I'm saying. There's no such thing as a wheat cake. I think Stan Lee made that shit up.
Looks like fucking cornbread.
Cornbread's good. Cornbread.
It's a spongy wheat. I don't know what this thing is. It looks like cornbread.
Why eat that when you can eat cornbread?
It does not look appetizing whatsoever. This one looks like a carrot cake. It's a knockoff.
This is what I'm saying.
Cakes aren't real.
This is why you needed to have that, because rice cakes, I don't even know what a rice cake is right now. I'm 40-something years old. 40 years old. I don't know what a rice cake is.
Well, you can't exactly go to your local Dunkin' Donuts and order a rice cake. You got to order a donut.
That's what I'm saying. They'll look at you like you're an idiot.
Sugar covered.
You walk into Dunkin' and be like, "Yo, I'd like a rice cake." They'd look at you like you were high.
Do it.
One would have to be to make that.
Do it at the drive-thru so they ain't got to see your face, and then be all mad when they ain't got rice cakes.
There you go. You've got a TikTok right there.
There you go.
All right.
Shows off the rails, Dave.
Yes, very much so.
We are way off the reservation. In fact, we're all out in the jungle now. It's like,
run through the jungle.
All right.
Episode title's got to have something jungle.
The rock runs through the jungle.
Jungle rocks. All right. Here's a question.
Something there.
Who wants to make a bet?
Not with you.
Are we gonna? Are they actually going to have San Diego Comic-Con and WonderCon next year in Anaheim?
Ask me in 2 weeks. Let's see how this new thing goes.
When they finish the genetic sequencing and they know just how bad those new mutations are on the Omicron.
The Omicron Omni variant.
Yeah, well,
shit's getting more serious. It sounds like it's leveled up.
Yeah, right. The names are just getting worse and worse, man.
Right.
I mean, how long until we start the Black Death? You know, how long?
That's what I was thinking, like the Mega Death variant.
Yeah.
Well,
the Omega Death variant.
Well,
the Symphony of Destruction.
Yeah. The problem being that if the new variant is making headway now, and they're finding it in the wild, that means it's more virulent than in the jungle. Then it's worse than Delta. It has to be in order for it to have gotten this far. Just at least that.
We'll know in 2 weeks. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, now it's not a matter of whether it's more catchy. Now it's just a matter of what are the symptoms and the mortality rate.
So the people at Comic-Con International seem to think they're going to have conventions next year.
Of course they do.
So they announced the dates: April 1st through the 3rd for WonderCon in Anaheim, and July 21st through the 24th for San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, it's like JD said. We'll wait 2 weeks and we'll see what they say then.
I mean, it's to be honest with you, I think though it's next summer, right? So yeah, sure. I think we'll probably have something.
All right. I mean,
but is it actually going to be a Comic Con? Honestly, I mean, all they do is just show off big Marvel and DC premieres nowadays, and
not anymore.
It's not even about.
But about to say that's. I don't know. I think it's gonna have to be just the comics.
I agree with that.
You know, all those separate
I've talked
DC.
To a couple of dealers that have been out at Comic Con out in San Diego, and they said that the spaces are the rates go up every year for their booth, for their little spot, and they're kind of forcing the comic guys out so that they can make room for the big media, pavilions and things like that. So
but is the big
whether
media...
there'll be dealers there dealing.
What big media? Because we've already lost DC and Marvel. Like at New York, was it Rooster Teeth pulled out? I don't think Dave, was Crunchyroll there this year? It's like they're losing all the big guys. So
yeah, I mean, but a lot of that was still due to the restrictions as well. So it's kind of hard to say.
it seems like these big media companies are doing their own thing. Like Disney's just really was interested in doing their stuff, and DC had their,
Disney Plus Day.
yeah, exactly. Or in Disney or DC had the fandom. Like, why spend money? Why pay for these things when you can do this stuff on your own, stream it on your own service, and you make money?
My question is, why aren't they firing the people in the marketing department for coming up with these stupid fucking names?
That's
Disney
true.
Plus Day, DC Fandom.
Does it really have? Yeah, does it really have the same impact though as like announcing it on stage in front of a live crowd?
Doesn't matter. Yes,
Doesn't
it does.
matter.
Yes, it does. Because I mean, you're going to put that because the vast majority of people see that stuff online, right? No, I mean, you can have a full Hall H and it's still what, a couple thousand people.
Well, yeah,
That
but
stuff online, it's 100,000, it's millions within hours. Like,
but they could simulcast it too. But like, I don't know. They think like there's when you're marketing, you need something to show, right? And if you're just throwing a video up, there's a difference between throwing a video up and throwing a video up of a screaming audience as you start showing something.
you can say that, but I mean, like, has it hurt anything yet?
I don't know. That's the question,
the thing.
right?
Is like this is old. This is old mentality. Like we're in the post-COVID world, things are different. And like if they don't need Comic-Con, they don't need to spend those prices. They do their own thing. Now, if they want to, that's a different story. Is it that important for them to have thousands of screaming people, or do they want to host their own thing? Is Warner more interested in holding their own fandom? Why go to Comic-Con and pay for them when we'll host their own fandom? Well, blackjack and hookers.
I mean, they could just say that the fans are there watching it and just pump sound in like WWE does. They just pump in the fan reaction.
That's what they do now too. They don't even need reactions. They have the fans sitting there, and they say, "You don't want to react the way we want you to? Fine, we'll just program our own reactions."
Yeah,
like I don't know.
I just wonder if the people like say Comic-Con International and Fan Expo and all these companies and Reed Pop, like, are they adjusting for that now?
I hope so.
As you know, I mean, especially the big two, New York and San Diego. It's like, because that's the whole thing. Because John, you said simulcast it, but the problem with that is, then why go to San Diego if you could just go online and watch it?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, you go to San Diego. It's not whether or not you can see it either way. It's the image of it, right? It's what you're projecting, and if you're showing it. If you're showing it in front of like thousands of screaming fans, that leaves more of an impression than just, I got enough. The little bell ran off, and there's a video up.
In 2019, I would have agreed with you, but we've gone 2 years now without that.
Oh,
and I think we've adjusted. Like, did you see people lose their minds for the Spider-Man trailer? We had trailers. We had trailers to trailers. We had trailer announcements. We had countdowns to trailers. People were losing their mind over a trailer that showed us nothing. Like, I don't think that's necessary anymore. I really don't. I mean, like, if they want to try to appeal and do that old school, everything goes back to the way it was. Yeah, sure, they can. Do they need it? No, absolutely not.
I think that you can have the same impact if you marketed it right. If you want to market it to kids and things like that, you want to market to TikTok. You want to get on Snapchat, Instagram. All these different things are so much cheaper than renting out Hall H in San Diego and things like that. So if you want to be cost efficient, then I would say do it the other way. I wouldn't say, set up a big ass pavilion.
Especially Warner Media, that has taken a bath in the last 2 years. They've struggled. If I'm them, I just keep going with fandom until we start turning things around.
True.
And then if you wanted it, you can coordinate it and do it the same weekend as Comic-Con and latch on to the name and not have to spend any money.
Or you can just go over on Facebook and go into the metaverse and put on your VR goggles and be there live or whatever that thing is. Is that virtual reality? One step closer to the Matrix, boys. Can't wait.
I've never wanted something to fail as badly as I want Facebook Meta to fail. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, keep in mind that Google they spun off their main company, and that's called Alphabet. Very few people have heard that. So if they still call it Facebook, but it's run by the company Meta, then there's no real, there's no difference to us.
Okay, you know that scene in Ready Player One where they're all fighting at the very end and you see everybody kicking around in the streets? I cannot wait to see that in like 5 years. It's gonna be, and everybody's gonna be in the metaverse fighting over bullshit and politics and everything. They're gonna be punching each other.
Dude, we've already had this. We've already had The Sims, right? it's all everybody's going to be dressed as a dick. That's how it works in those kinds of things. In fact, that was in Snow Crash. That was like what's his name? I forget the writer's name. The very first guy who proposed something like that, a virtual world. He already predicted like the first guy dressed as a dick walking around. Like that's the way it's just going to be. You're not going to get the Ninja Turtles. You're going to get 4 green dicks. I mean, like, just that's the humor that we're going to be dealing with on this level.
Or Pickle Ricks. All right.
Yeah.
On that note, we're going to take our second and final commercial break. I'll be right back with our main topic.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. This is the one everyone's been waiting for. We're all anxious and chomping at the bit.
Chomping.
One of the most epic superhero movies of all time.
Is it?
Starring
Is it really?
Christopher Reeve and Gene Hackman and
John Cryer.
The one and only John Cryer.
Future Lex Luthor.
Really good Lex Luthor, surprisingly.
And of course, we're talking about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Hey, you forgot Meryl Hemingway, by the way.
I tried to slip in Meryl Hemingway. Ooh, that came out wrong.
We all.
That's not what I meant.
I have been in love with Meryl Hemingway since she was on Tales from the Crypt, season 3, episode 1. Loved to death. Oh my god! It has the dude from Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, it has the. I'm big on Tales from the Crypt.
That was a great
show. It
show.
has the dude from Weekend at Bernie's. It was amazing, except the last season. Don't watch it. Don't even bother.
Fair.
Everything was filmed in a warehouse. But to get back on topic, Meryl Hemingway, she got drugged with a love potion, and she was just madly in love with him. And then because she was such a good wife, or not a wife, but like a girlfriend, his glass was dirty, and he had poison in it because she loved him too hard. So she takes the dirty glass and switches it with the one with the poison, and then he dies. She kills herself and follows him to the afterlife to love him eternally, and he can't stand her. It was one of my favorite episodes.
That's
and Meryl Hemingway,
awesome.
the girl, and season 3, episode 1. Go back and watch it, boys. I'm telling you, she was hot in that episode.
She was hot. Allow me to recommend personal best.
So, and then
hotter than Lois.
Kidder and
Margot Kidder looks rough in this movie.
Was she? I noticed it sounded like she was slurring some of her lines.
Yeah, she's not in a good place.
I thought she looked better than in Superman 3, though. That's the weird thing.
Maybe she didn't look good either way. Because my wife came in and she's like,
Lois actually was in Superman 3.
Yeah, for briefly.
My wife came in. She's like, Lois looks terrible. I'm like, yeah, she looks not good. Not good.
A lot less tan than in part 3 when she won her trip to South America.
True.
Yeah, there's a reason she ended up on Family Guy as just a raving lunatic. Like, it's kind of sad, but kind of true.
Yes.
Where do you want to start with this? Because we all have thoughts on this.
Do we? Do we really?
I have thoughts.
Oh yeah, I've got absolutely.
Didn't Margot Kidder go? Didn't she have like schizophrenia or something and went missing for like a year or something like that? Was that her or was that
I
from the show?
think you're right. Yeah, I think that did.
Yeah, it was her.
Oh,
yeah. They found her in the bushes or something, and
in the jungle.
Oh, it all comes back.
And
did the Rock find her?
Dude, that'd be a good movie.
Oh my goodness!
I would totally watch that.
Hey, Margot, it's me, The Rock. Come for me. Come with me, please. Come on, you can trust The Rock.
You had a Freudian slip there, Don.
She only passed away in 2018, August 8th.
Wow, it's only been 3.5 years. I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah. It's a shame though.
Oh yeah, she was in a bad place for a long time.
So speaking of a bad place, this movie.
Yes.
How do you want to start this, Dave?
Yeah.
All right. Let's try to be a little positive.
Oh,
okay. Let's start with
in the first act.
Let's start with a close-up of Christopher Reeve's ass with a wedgie. Yeah, that's the first time you're gonna see Christopher Reeves in this movie. Ass shot, babe. Total Michael Bay style.
Krypton's
We
ass.
got Henry Cavill today. We had Christopher Reeve back then.
I feel like, from my understanding,
super ass.
The history of this movie, because it's one of the canon film movies.
It is a canon film, but it's a Golden Globus production.
Right, and this was Christopher Reeve wanted to make this movie.
Yeah.
Like this was his idea.
You kind of tell.
And I kind of feel like he wanted to do it because of how poorly received Superman 3 was.
Because it was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, on paper, it's not a bad idea.
No, if you break it down, like it's very much an 80s Superman concept. Like Superman is going to get rid of all the nuclear weapons in the world. Like if you say they're like, okay, that's a very Superman thing.
Right.
The movie times. I mean, you had, the Cold War was at height at that point. I mean, it makes sense that he would want to do something like that. So,
yeah, I mean, like it makes sense. Like the first act of the movie, like first of all, the title sequence is better in this one than in Superman 3. There's no cheesy, there's nothing real. Yeah, there's no cheesy cheeseball comedy or whatever, like Buster Keaton shit. It's just like
wait, there isn't?
No, in the the title sequence. The title sequence.
Okay.
Like it's very much a dollar discount version of the original title sequence.
Yeah.
Right. It's very much like, you hired a kid out of film school.
It looked like the words that it used to be on my Windows PC when the screensaver would come on and bounce around. That's what it looked.
That's exactly what it looked like. But I think that the first act has the makings of what could have been a really good Superman movie. Now, clearly, they're limited by budget, right?
Very limited, apparently.
Very limited by budget, and clearly they didn't really have a writer. But I mean, like, the idea behind it, like, and the whole thing with Superman struggling with what is my place in this world? Do I have the authority to go and do that? And have a little kid point it out. I'm like, this stuff all kind of worked. Like, and I like the first sequence where it looks kind of like 2001 a little bit, but then Superman's got to save the day. Like, this is fine. I thought I was surprised. I thought I'm like, is this actually better than I remember it being? And then very quickly, oh no, it's not. It's actually worse. But like the first 10-15 minutes, I'm like, this isn't terrible. Like, this could have been okay. And then it very quickly spirals out of control.
Yeah, as soon as Gene Hackman's out of jail, it's off the rails, man.
For real. That's like the peak of the movie.
When you meet Lenny, I'm just like, I'm done. Like,
you got John Cryer talking like Michelangelo. It's so weird.
Man, well, just need my drum.
Yeah, there's definitely something like weird choices. I don't know if that's how the character was written or if they were John Cryer's choices.
But this thing is, John Cryer was a thing at that point, because this is like a year after Pretty in Pink. So I mean, he's actually like as big a star as he would be until his comeback. Like he's a thing in like Hollywood, and then to have him be Michelangelo, it's a weird choice.
Very weird. Yeah. I just, oh my god. And the thing is too, like, yes, get rid of all nuclear weapons in the world, but then there's no consequence for it.
There is Nuclear Man.
No, there is for Superman, but in the world, like, none of the government are trying to stop him from doing it.
Well, to be fair, could the governments of the world stop Superman? Yeah, that's the thing. Superman is a god on Earth, and we have to. If you live in a world with Superman, and Superman decides one day, this is what I'm going to do, the rest of the planet has to collectively go, okay. Or you do what they did in the movie, you kind of try to get behind Lex Luthor. So I mean, like, the makings of an interesting story are there, but nothing is really explored with like more than a third grade level of exploration.
I will admit, and maybe it's because I watched this right after Superman 3, which the only thing sadder Superman related than Superman 3 is the fact that 2 amusement park rides named after Superman have killed people. One took a lady's feet off. The other one killed a disabled veteran because the operator didn't bother to look at the rules of the ride, which stated you needed to have both legs, which this veteran didn't. So, yeah, pretty sad shit in regards to Superman.
True, man. But he was the actual Superman.
So maybe it was my bias from watching that shit. Coming into this, I'm like, this is a Superman movie. This is teaching me about Superman a little bit. Like, I could come in to Superman Quest for Peace, not watching the other 3, and at least kind of learn the essence of Superman. That he's from Krypton. When he went into the barn and he got the little Deus Ex Machina, or whatever it is.
Last energy
I was in it. And what? I actually cried.
They set that up in the first Superman.
Yes, they did. Although I think you could you could watch it, not know about it, and still kind of.
Oh no, 100%. I'm talking about the Deus Ex Machina. Like, that is, yes, you call that Deus Ex Machina, but they set that up 3 previous movies ago. Like, that's the same thing that they used to create the Fortress of Solitude. So,
right, but they totally misuse it. They totally misuse it because there's actually a really good reason to use that. So I loved it. And I actually cried when he did the UN speech. I don't know why. I don't know what hit me, but I'm like, this is what guys, the real world, we want Superman. We want a guy to come to Earth or whatever and say, fuck your government, fuck whatever. I'm going to do what's right and you can't fucking stop me. That's the appeal of Superman. And so, when he decides, you know what? I'm going to take this little kid's advice. All your nuclear weapons, they're gone. I mean, you got no option other than to cooperate.
That's very Superman.
But if Superman wanted to, he could literally go around the world and just, constantly.
And there's moral questions that come from that. So there's actually interesting things you could do, because that also kind of, it creates more of a sympathetic Lex Luthor if you look at it that way. There's a lot you can do with that. It's just this film chooses not to.
Right.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of horrible choices. And with so Nuclear Man, like, really? Okay, so I get it. Lex Luthor's a pimp, so I can understand and believe that he would get this biological material into a nuclear missile and get, okay, cool, that's awesome. You know, he was a U.S. general. Dixie, right? But so you have Nuclear Man, and what's the plan? Oh, Superman, I'm gonna scratch you. I'm gonna scratch in the back of your neck.
And he only uses it once.
Scratched him with them,
and it almost killed him.
He has to use his Deus Ex Machina, right? He got the super COVID, right? He got the kryptonite COVID, and so he has to use the Deus Ex Machina to heal from that. What a dumb, why would Superman be allergic to anything that has to do with Nuclear Man? Like, he's from the sun.
Because the plot said so.
Right, because the plot said so. Instead of the plot saying, here's what we'll do. Okay, Nuclear Man is basically Superman's equal. So have him beat down Superman, put him in the elevator, put him in the moon, and that's when Superman uses his Deus Ex Machina to get repowered. And then he goes out and he kicks Nuclear Man's ass. And by the way, when they shove each other in the moon, they're not thorough at all. Superman puts Nuclear Man down into the moon, and then he immediately walks away, and he's more concerned about straightening the U.S. flag that has the pole on top to emulate no gravity, but you can clearly see it.
With the physics of this movie, I was halfway expecting the fucking eagle to land on his arm in space.
Right, exactly. But even when Nuclear Man pounds Superman into the same moon, he's like, his head is still out, and he just kind of walks away.
But if he had done that to Nuclear Man, that would have been the end, because that's it. That would have been.
My question is, why didn't he just take him to the dark side of the moon?
There is no dark side of the moon. Is actually just the far side of the moon. In reality, all the sides of the moon do get sun.
Yes.
It's just
you're telling me that Transformers and Pink Floyd lied to me.
Yes.
They've got an issue.
So did you guys know that is actually that's actually Nuclear Man 2. There is another Nuclear Man that there's footage of that got cut out because they wanted to make a 90-minute runtime, right? And they were going to recycle that footage into Superman 5. There's a more Frankenstein-esque Nuclear Man
I heard about that.
He fights on Metropolis, and apparently the scene looks just terrible. So this movie could have actually been worse.
So here's the thing, throughout the entire movie, and I think everybody here agrees, the bones of a good movie were in here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's and after I finished watching this, I needed to cleanse the palate, so I went back and watched Superman the movie, the original. The difference between these two movies is the original took the time to introduce the characters and let them breathe some before the main plot really got fired off. They had a major budget compared to Superman 4. You could play a drinking game with Superman 4 as to the number of times they show the same clip of him flying, and you can tell that they didn't even have the original clip, because it looks like they took that clip from the original movie and then tried to edge out the corners, and you lose that drinking game.
He's green.
Yeah. So it's bad. It's just so between
Photoshop.
that. Yeah. So between that and all the the lack of a budget, the horrible writing, it's just
Nolan and Globus were the wrong people to tackle a Superman movie, right? Like they're schlock masters. Like we've all seen Masters of the Universe, right? Same people.
Oh
same
God,
guys.
yeah.
But again, like this, there's elements of Masters of the Universe. Like it could have been an all right, but it's a piece of shit. So I mean, like these were the wrong, and I believe they were shooting these movies at the same time. So I mean, like there's budgets from both those films are just being siphoned off by each other. Like who knows what this original movie would have been.
And there's just simple things that like you watch the scene and you're like, why does that make sense? Why did they do that? One of the things that bothers me the most, and it's maybe stupid to some people, there's a piece of Superman's hair holding up 1,000-pound weight.
Mm-hmm.
And Lex Luthor cuts it with bolt cutters. I'm sorry, if it's strong enough to hold up 1,000-pound weight, you ain't cutting it with bolt cutters.
Yeah. That's not even my question. My question is, how did they bend the hair to get it through the loop?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when Gene Hackman pulls the hair out after he cuts it, it's literally like a metal pin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Well, they also showed us they also upped Superman's power. Like at one point, he's
wall repair vision.
Wall repair vision. My wife asked about that one.
Which is
when he was on the wall repair, right? When he looks.
Oh yeah. No,
the whitest Great Wall of China one would ever see.
That's kind of like Piccolo's clothes beam in Dragon Ball Z. It's it's like, what the hell? You just look at it and it's, and also he de-levitated a few people just by looking at them.
But I mean, like,
but it was the moving of the moon. He was not that strong in the original.
He turned back the hands. He turned the planet's axis backwards and reversed time.
That's by flying, but the strength to move the moon
was by flying.
Well, that's the problem, was we were getting like Silver Age Superman in this movie, where like he can move entire galaxies.
Yes. But we did too. We've always had Silver Age Superman in these movies, right? And they're kind of like, his powers are up and down depending on what the scene necessitates, right? It's been like that through the duration. We also got Silver Age Superman and the fact that he booked a date with both, I forget Mariel Hemingway's character's name, and Lois Lane as Clark and Superman.
Oh my God, that scene was so annoying.
I had to fast forward.
Don hated it so much he left the podcast. It's so Silver Age though. Like that's right out of a Silver Age Superman comic, or maybe not Silver, maybe a Dark Age Superman comic from the early 50s. Like it was cheesy and it could have been fun, but it also Clark comes off so stupid. Lacey, thank you.
Yeah,
her dad's like Richard Murdoch, right? That's the guy's name, Richard Murdoch.
Yeah,
in real life, yeah.
Yeah, but he's basically being like I blanked on the name. The guy was basically Richard.
David Warfield. That's what the guy's name was, played by Sam Wanamaker. But it was
Rupert Murdoch. Excuse me.
Yeah, all the little skits like that were just and again with the what does he do when he kisses her? Does he like suck her brain out? And
what is that?
With his tongue?
Like,
what the hell?
That scene made no sense because. Two reasons. Number one, there was a rehashing of the memory wipe from 2, which everyone hated.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone thought was stupid.
And 3, they'd already moved away from the Lois Lane.
But like after he reveals he's Superman again, she says she remembers everything. And then
so then he had a French kiss her this time to make sure it really licked away all that memory crud. Yeah, it's weird, man.
It was very weird. Like, why are we rehashing this scene? And what was the point?
But the thing was,
you'll do the right thing. Like that was her advice too. It wasn't even real advice.
But the thing is, like, again, if that were played differently, and then when she came in and found him when he was sick, and it was that scene was good because it played it very subtle that you kind of got that you think she knows who he is,
right? Yes.
And it didn't work, and that could have worked if it weren't for the rest of the movie being so up and down.
Yeah, in that sequence, Lois either knows that he's Superman and plays along for reasons, or she is the dumbest motherfucker on the planet, and I can't figure out which one it is.
But it was played very well. I mean, it was kind of really, really heavily implied that she knew who he was, and that she hadn't forgotten anything. And it could have been a very poignant moment, but it isn't.
This movie's not interested in poignant moments.
Yeah, I know exactly. That's why they immediately killed it.
I want wall repair vision.
Yeah, wall repair vision.
I just can't stop. When I was at the end of this movie, I just couldn't stop thinking, and I didn't know any better as a kid. I figured, he dropped Nuclear Man into the nuclear power plant, and it gave a power. Oh, that makes perfectly sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what is at the bottom of those stacks? Water. a bunch of fucking water. So that means Superman dropped
Cooling
Nuclear
towers.
Man down to the nuclear power plant, and he just splashes into some water, and some poor bastard's got to clean.
Well,
gotta
they-
clean it dead.
Well, wouldn't that power him more?
Well,
I would think so, but
because I mean, well, it didn't look like he dropped him in the well. It looked like he dropped him in the actual chamber. But what's in the chamber? A bunch of graphite rods and some was it plutonium or whatever. So yeah, it should have either exploded or it should have powered him up. There's like no, I mean, the hell. And what now they just got a dead body floating.
yeah, it should have been a bad day for somebody for sure.
That'd have been a great post-credit sequence. Guys got to clean up. Oh man! Yeah, sorry.
The guy from Robot Chicken Star Wars.
Yeah,
That
that's
has
like that would have been funny, but this movie's not interested in actual funny.
Yeah.
Why did
that's
Nuclear
right.
Man?
Even when it tried to be funny, it was just cringy. It
This
didn't work.
funny's hard. Like to be actually funny is difficult. And this
No,
there's no
there was
there-
a scene in this movie that was actually easily funny.
Which
they
one
weren't
was
even
that?
trying. The
Yeah.
date scene, the double
date
date scene. I really enjoyed that scene. Like
Yeah,
just the antics that went on.
I didn't.
I loved it.
I
Clark
didn't like
getting,
it as
Clark
much.
getting taken away by a suitcase rack or whatever it was, and couldn't get on the elevator. That was great.
I actually
Him
like
having to balance two different lives was great.
I like the gym sequence with him
That
and
was good,
Lacey.
too.
That was
Oh
okay.
yeah, when he
That one
lifted up
entertained me because I can imagine it's just like that's a super dick scene, right? Like we all seen the super dick memes. Like
Uh-huh.
that's just Clark being a dick. I'm just gonna act super uncoordinated because it entertains me. And then this guy's gonna fuck with me, so I'm gonna launch a bunch of weights at his chest that could possibly break his sternum because it entertains me.
Quiet over there because he does that shit to people at the gym. He's like, no pain, no gain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Anyway,
still quiet.
What was I going to say? Oh,
how much more can we say about this? I mean, it's like
I don't even know if I call this one disappointing because 3 I find more disappointing than this one, but I do think 3 is a worse movie. I guess that's a good question. Which did you guys think was worse?
3.
This one or 3?
3. I don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, I agree. I think 3 is the
3.
worst movie.
yeah.
I don't know. Like the writing was bad in 3, but it was still a more cohesive plot than
No, it
this
wasn't.
thing.
No, it wasn't. We all agree Richard Pryor was in a completely different movie.
Oh, he was, but
That's not cohesive. That's the definition
no,
of not
but
cohesive.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this.
Like this
We
was
also-
consistently bad. Like it's the
Again,
same
and-
movie bad.
And again, we also had Superman freeze an entire lake, carry it over to put a fire out in a plant, but then get captured by wires and pulled back by wires on a computer.
True.
Yeah.
But I'm not talking about the
Richard
I'm not
Pryor
talking about
skied
that.
off a building.
Yeah, I'm not talking
survived.
about how
That's
I'm
right,
not talking about
live to tell
that
the tale.
bad. I'm talking about
That's
like just
cohesive.
the flow of the plot. Like
The
at
flow of
least
the plot. No, this one had a much more cohesive plot because that last one, remember, he becomes a genius. Like Richard Pryor, the whole Richard Pryor character makes no sense. He finds a job at a computer place because he finds it on a matchbook. Whoever put want ads on matchbooks, and then he becomes a savant with computers.
true.
So I mean, like things
but
just
this-
happen to move the plot in that movie.
But this
Right.
one, Nuclear Man just went from "I'm going to destroy everything" to "me want girl." It's like, why'd you pick her all of a sudden?
Yeah,
Why
but I
did-
mean that's like a bad Superman.
yeah.
That's a bad Superman movie, right? Richard Pryor's in a bad Richard Pryor movie. That's happening.
That
That's
just
happening
happens-
alongside of
Yeah,
a Superman
Superman, yeah.
movie. Like that's 2 movies. That's like 2 scripts that got like merged together. This is just one bad Superman.
Nuclear Man wanted Merrill Hemingway. What's not to want
Yeah, that's
about
fair.
that?
Well, you know, but
That
like,
makes perfect
yeah,
sense, actually.
Yeah.
It's
You didn't want
understandable.
Lois.
Yeah, but
Again,
like,
that makes perfect sense.
how did he even know she existed? It's like all of a sudden
He has
want the
eyes and a
Yeah.
penis. He gets
Oh,
it.
God, you just make.
But I mean,
yeah.
like that's the thing. He is a nuclear man, right? Do you guys actually notice that Hackman was doing his voiceover?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
And that-
that was the thing, though. He was supposed to have Luther's voice. That was
Was
that
he?
was part of the plot. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
I
Actually,
really
that
wish
became
he
part of the
would've
plot
had
because the guy was bad.
Well,
think it would've been
oh
a-
yeah, that's the other thing that sucked about this. The ADR, the
ADR 's
voiceovers, and
bad.
It seemed like a weird choice.
The regular sound editing was bad when they were like mixing the stuff and putting the little pack together to attach
Golden
it.
Globus.
Like you couldn't even hear what they were saying. It's just
cheap people. You hire cheap labor, guys that aren't good at their jobs. You're just getting like that movie was made over the course of like a couple months. Like
Yeah.
that's not a real movie. I mean, it's a real movie that came out, but it's not like a real movie. You know, these are the people that made Cyborg. Yeah.
So I have a question. Which scene was better? Ghostbusters 2 riding the Statue of Liberty, or Superman carrying, or Nuclear Man carrying the Statue of Liberty?
Oh,
When he
Ghostbusters
was
2
pushing
is
it towards
awesome.
Superman, and Superman catches it.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna go with the Ghostbusters.
Me
Got it.
too.
I'll go with that too.
The Jack Nicholson soundtrack alone makes Ghostbusters work.
True.
Oh, I'm not saying which is a better movie. I'm saying that particular scene.
Oh,
with
that
the
scene.
Statue of Liberty.
I actually like that scene in Ghostbusters 2 with the Statue of Liberty. But I
Yeah,
did think about
the-
the same thing.
NES Advantage controller. I was real stoked about that as a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And can we talk about the physics of the last 10 minutes of Superman 4?
Let's do it.
Seriously. So Lacey goes into space and can breathe.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Dead.
It doesn't freeze to death. Yes.
That too, yeah. And let's see, the fight scene on the moon, some of it was kind of like, okay, we're bouncing on the moon, but then other scenes were just not. Like he would just fall straight to the ground.
Well, they were just they were just fighting slowly, and that's not how that works. They're still two Supermen. They should not have been.
there's no resistance, so it should be even faster. Wait, I got one for you. You mentioned the moon, right? So so he can pound Superman into the moon, but when Superman goes to move the entire moon, somehow he doesn't just drive right straight through it.
Yeah,
that too. When he dropped the safe onto the moon, it wouldn't have had the same force, right? If he'd have dropped it from space where there is no gravity and then dropped to the moon where there's only a little bit of gravity, it wouldn't have made the impact. It probably would have bounced. That too. Oh man, there's just so much about the last 10 minutes of this movie that was just like,
yeah, no, this makes you angry because you're like, as a kid, they thought I was a fucking idiot. Like the people that made these movies just thought we were fucking stupid.
That's true. They did. They think people who watch these movies are either children or stupid. So they ran out of money and they just tried to knock out an ending, right? Which is that's essentially the story of every Superman. Like that whole series, it's the same thing. They ran out of money and had to finish it.
You mean the flying around the world and
The whole
reversing
thing,
time?
all of them. They've every single one of those movies ran out of money at the end, and they had to cobble an ending together.
Did Donner do the ending for the first one, or was
Donner came up because that's the end of. If you watch the Donner cut of 2, he uses the turn back time thing to make Lois forget that he's Superman. Right? Donner's idea was to tack the ending of Superman 2 onto Superman 1.
That's right.
Ran out of money. Right. And then Superman 2, they were just cobbling a movie together out of, whatever was left over. Superman 3, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
That's the story of this entire franchise is, oh shit, we're out of money.
Well, it's a good thing they did better with the new Superman movie. Oh, that's right.
It's the history of this character on screen.
Yeah, it is.
Well, only in the live action stuff. If you go to the Bruce Timm animation series, well, those are still on screen, but the Bruce Timm animation was amazing. So,
back to the physics, guys. I just looked it up. When he tossed all those nukes into the sun. Okay, now it would take 7,045 days to fly there at 555 miles an hour.
It takes light
19
8.5 minutes to get from the sun at the speed of light to get from the sun to us. So
that's what he just launched them in there like they were right next to Earth. Crazy.
Convenient.
Superman 4, boy.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing.
It's a dumb movie. It's a very dumb movie, but I think it's got far more heart than Superman 3, which is the most cynical.
I agree.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. And that's what makes you even madder, right? It had the bones of a good plot and storyline. It had some really good actors. It had heart, and then everything else went wrong.
I think draft 1 or 2 of this movie is probably decent. And then some line producer got in and cracked their knuckles. Went, we'll get rid of this. We'll get rid of that.
Yeah.
We can't afford that. Circle scratch.
Let's have Mariel Hemingway constantly hit on Clark Kent.
Did you guys notice how large every woman's shoulders was in this movie? This was clearly
that's the 80s.
Yeah, when
shoulders pads.
The Road Warrior shoulder look was really in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
80s fashion.
It's funny because my 7-year-old asked about that the other day when we were watching Ghostbusters. She asked about some lady shoulders, and I was like, "That's just funny."
It looked like every woman in the 80s was jacked or was spending time doing shoulder presses. They all have these chiseled shoulders.
They weren't.
I don't know, man. I don't think the Golden Girls were getting in deep sets of power cleans at the gym, but all of them have these perfectly squared shoulders.
It was to make them not look as feminine as females. I don't know, like the whole equality thing. Yeah,
it's a weird fashion choice, man.
Using all those CFC hairsprays, shoulder pads,
hair up to here,
wave hairdos. Yeah,
Lois had some teased hair at points in the movie. Her hair looked a little bit larger this time around.
Okay, you're creeping me out. You're now describing my mom.
Fairly certain that was all of our moms in the 80s at one point or another.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This episode has become traumatic.
It was borderline traumatic in the first place. Let's be real.
Just need to have them playing those electric drum stings. And the keyboard guitar.
The soundtrack for this movie sucked.
Yeah, the keyboard guitar is essential.
At least it still had the Williams score in the back, but they cut it all to hell.
Well, they had to.
Oh, yeah.
You have to pay for John Williams and the London Symphony Orchestra on the first one.
Oh, that's right. And
you just play the music. You can pay the sheet music's way cheaper than the actual recording.
And the voiceover in the beginning was supposed to be his mom, and not because
Brando wasn't coming back for this.
Well, yeah, I know exactly.
If they, hey Marlon, we want you to come back and play Jarrell. Fine, I need another island.
Yeah,
you cannot afford another island. I am not interested in this film.
Yeah,
he wasn't interested in the first movie. Like they suckered him into it, and then he realized what he was doing. He's like, I want to be a bagel. And Dick Donner like knew how to talk him out of it. True story.
Okay.
Maybe it was something to do with copyright law. Like they can only play a certain amount of seconds. I know now if you want to play a snippet of a song on like your podcast or something and you don't want to get it taken down by YouTube or whatever, you can play up to 30 seconds of the clip. Yeah, anything after that is
well, they'll still take you down, but at least you can get back up.
There's definitely fair use things that can be done. But if you want to use it for your movie, like using the sheet music is one thing. You just buy the actual music and then you record your own version of it. Yeah, it's far cheaper than buying the actual music from Superman the movie. I wonder what this budget actually was to this. I bet it was under $10 million. Let me look that up.
It has to be, because like again, the difference between the first one and this and that one.
The budget was 17 million.
Okay, I'm off. I thought it was going to be under 10.
And it made 36.7 million at the box office.
So it actually made money?
Jeez.
This was actually, it doubled its budget? I'm blown away to learn that.
No, you're wrong.
That can't be.
The worldwide gross was $15,681,020.
Yeah, okay, Wikipedia.
$20.
Wikipedia does say it grossed 38.
Trust Wikipedia. I'm on IMDb. Yeah. They're a lot more credible.
Okay,
no, they're not.
But compare 17. All right, so let's take the high end, 17 million to make that movie, right? Yeah, the first movie, the budget was 55 million.
Right.
Wow. So, after Superman 3, would you want to throw money into it and take a loss?
Well, that's the thing, that the Salkins lost it. The Salkins lost the money, lost the rights because Warner wasn't going to work with them anymore. Yeah. So they had to, in order to keep, that's what they were slated to do, the Superboy TV show and the Supergirl movie, because they kept it. And Golden Globus picked those things up for cheap, and they were like, "Oh, Roger Corman, too high quality for us. We'll show you how to make some shit."
Roger Corman. But that's the thing. What you said is okay, you don't want to follow up Superman 3 with you don't want to give it that much of a budget because it's Superman 3. But if you want to save the franchise, if you want to make more money of it, you better throw more money at it and get a better writer and a director, right?
But that's not Golden Globus. If Warner actually cared back then, because back in the 80s, they didn't really care about the shit.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Until Batman. Like Batman changed the face of this stuff, right? Back then, it was like, Superman, Warner sold those rights in like 75.
Yeah.
So and that's the rules. If you own the rights, as long as you're in development on something, those rights stay with the people that are owning it. So they had to make these movies. That's probably the case this one. They bought it and they had to do something. They had to make something quick. So you fart out a movie so you can keep the rights, and then Golden Globus cannon breaks shortly after, because that's what happened with Superman 5.
Thing that happened with Fantastic Four. They had to shit out a movie where they lose the rights. Yeah, same deal.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Corman.
Except they actually
released. And boy, was that some shit.
Hey, here's a controversial take. The Corman Fantastic Four is better than
it's
this
the
movie.
best.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's much better than this movie.
And you can find the entire thing on YouTube.
It was better than Fan Four Stick too.
Well, certainly more cohesive.
Well, I don't think
more cohesive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's difficult to do.
Boy, that guy fucked up his career real good after that one.
Trank.
Yeah, he's done. I think he's done some stuff, but I mean, he'll never get like a major movie again.
And Four Stick.
The interesting thing is, before the movie, came out and Canon went bankrupt, there was actually plans to do a Superman 5.
So I watched the I rave about this show all the time, Supervoid Cinema. They did a nice little documentary on Superman 5, and they actually did the right thing. They went and hired Carrie Bates to write it. Carrie Bates, a longtime Superman writer, right? And they were gonna cobble together another movie because they didn't have money. So they brought in an actual comic guy to do something with it. And they were gonna do a Death of Superman story years before the actual death of Superman. Because again, they had this nuclear man scene sitting there, and they're like, we can make a movie based around this. And they were going to try to fart out another cheap shit movie, and then Golden Globus goes out of business, and the rights revert to DC,
right?
Or to Marvel, or to Marvel. The rights revert to Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Yep. And then
they should take this lost script of Superman 5 and just turn it into a comic, and then just sell it that way. That way, we finally get our story.
In the early 2000s, you could access any script. Like, it was easy to find these unproduced film scripts. Now they're a little bit harder because it's technically IP.
I can't tell you how many Freddy versus Jason scripts I actually read sitting in high school.
It was Drew Scriptorama, man. It was the awesomest website. You could just go there and read anything. Like, that's where I read the first Star Wars, like the Star Wars. Like, it was so easy to access those things. And then the story. Do you know how much money Warner has spent on Superman movies that never got made?
Nick Cage.
Like Nicolas Cage, the McG ones, the Brett Ratner one, like they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this franchise that they can never figure out. And like one guy did it right one time, and nobody's ever come close since. Like, some people like Man of Steel, but
they should give it to Marvel. Marvel would do a good Superman movie.
I mean, honest to God, if you hired Kevin Feige to produce a Superman movie, he would do a good job of it because he would get how to do it. Well, Sony figured it out. Because Sony had the same problem. They're pissing money away on Spider-Man, and we're like, fuck it, here you go, Kevin, do whatever.
And then
it worked.
Here's all this money, go make Morbius. Oh yeah, people would want it for a long time. Oh, who should we get? Jared Leto? Wasn't he great as the Joker? Oh man, we're gonna make so much money with Morbius.
Can you believe these are conversations that people actually had and went, yes, go with
it. These are people that went to college for like 12 years that are just, marketing experts, and they're like, what do people want? Well,
I just think that I just think that the quality of the cocaine that they've been using is dropped in the last couple of decades.
Warner, definitely.
I think you're giving them too much credit. I think like
it's too much cut in it.
These executives have no imagination or no vision of their own. They just think that if you put something on there that's tangentially related to comics, it'll make money, despite mountains and years of evidence to the contrary. But this is the story of Sony.
Yep.
Yeah.
And other places, not just Sony,
Warner for the most part too.
Yeah.
Warner will put Batman in anything. They'll put him and Scooby-Doo together. They don't give a shit.
They've done that several times. And oftentimes it works out pretty well.
I mean, I did like when they put the Ninja Turtles and Batman together.
Okay, so that was actually pretty damn good.
Right.
Yeah.
That cartoon was awesome.
Well, it had its issues too, but the parts of it that were good, and then they would do the pizza thing, and Batman doesn't smile, and
it was one of Tinian's first books out. Like he was helping with Snyder for a long time because he was under Snyder in his writing group. And then they sent Tinian out to do his own thing. He said, I want to do Batman and Ninja Turtles. Okay, cool. We're cool with it. IDW is cool with it. And then he did it. And it wasn't the greatest thing I've ever read. It's no Dark Knight Returns, but it's fine. It is what it is. I mean, what can you really do with Batman and Ninja Turtles to make it, a 1 million copy seller besides put a foil cover on it with a fucking trading card in it in a fucking plastic bag?
The concept is decent. I mean, Shredder versus Batman, that is actually kind of an interesting concept, but
I don't know.
I like the cartoon. I thought they did a really good job on that. I thought
we should have got.
I forgot they put that out. That's a movie, right?
The animated movie, right?
It's pretty good. I liked it a lot, actually.
A year ago.
DC does so many animated movies, I can't keep up.
Hard to keep up. It is hard to keep up with them.
They are starting to wobble though. Like it used to be that their animated movies were great and Marvel sucked, and now they put out Batman Ninja, and the Ninja Turtles was okay, but
we're getting the League of Super Pets, so they're right back on track.
Oh, geez.
That's going to make a lot of money.
That'll do.
Lock it. That's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, because it's marketed to kids. I mean, it's going to be a kid's show, and
Kids love talking.
You can't
animals.
really screw that up much.
Kids love talking animals. Kids love superheroes. You know, too much of the superhero genre is aimed at us, and not enough of it is aimed at kids, the next generation. This is what you do. This is what you do. You get them it's like drug dealing, man. You give them that first taste and you hook them early.
Yep.
Isn't that why they made Grogu in Mandalorian? Was for the kids. It wasn't for us, but we ended up just loving him so much that he's now just at that peak of like height of popularity.
My 40 Grogu dolls say, yeah, sure, it was for the kids.
He was
yeah.
a Thanksgiving float, so
compared to how many Jar Jar Binks dolls.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, I bought some of those too, just so I could burn them in effigies.
All right.
So, are we doing this again for Batman Forever?
Oh, come on.
I'm enjoying these talking about shit movies.
And then Batman and Robin, of course, right?
Got to do one then the other, but you got to do
say what you want about Batman Forever. We got those cool ass laser cut glasses from McDonald's.
I got one. I got them in my house still.
Got the whole set. They're at my mom's somewhere, wrapped up along with my Star Wars.
Let's kick some ice.
There was a cheeseburger that McDonald's created specifically for that actually wasn't terrible. So that's probably the most positive thing I could say for Batman Forever. But we think, hell, we can do the whole Batman series. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got to do Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey having a screen chewing competition.
So much scenery gets eaten.
They hated each other.
It comes across so clearly in the film.
Oh my God.
I've never Tommy Lee Jones is usually so subdued in everything he does. And in this, he's like off the side. Like, it's like he channeled Pacino for a minute or something. It's ludicrous, man.
Or he got into their cocaine.
Well, I mean,
that too.
I mean, a Batman Returns is a Christmas movie, so
it is.
Batman Returns is in fact a Christmas movie.
Yes.
You know, I haven't seen Batman Returns in a long time. I'm actually good with that.
Actually, I recently watched all the Batman movies, and I found that I enjoy Batman Returns more than the original Batman because
really?
I put my nostalgia to the side and went for an overall film, and I was like, Batman Returns is a better movie.
Dave, I think we have a concept here.
Uh-oh.
I think this is a good idea.
All right,
Let's do the Batman movies.
All right. I'll just say Danny DeVito biting a fish is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen on film.
Fucking A, dog.
Biting a person's
nose. That's less weird than the fish.
Herbert Penguin is one of the greatest things in cinema. I don't care what anybody says. And he'll show her flipper trick.
I can't believe he got away with that.
The cat and the pussy jokes and just, oh my God, he got away with so much. And it was aimed at kids. Oh my God.
Which is why Tim Burton did not return for Batman Forever.
The censors back then were not very astute.
No, they were. They were pissed, man. People were pissed when Batman Returns came out. Like, there's people on Oprah that were like angry about Batman.
I posted that video, didn't I?
I think you did. Yeah, I think that's where I saw it. Yeah, that was the thing. I totally think we should do the Batman movie, especially because I think it's a good idea to put the nostalgia away. Because I just today said that Batman '89 was a movie that like influenced me creatively and like culturally. Like, I love movies because of that movie and the way it made me feel.
All right.
I would love to look at it with a
visually. Batman Returns is better.
I buy it visually. I buy that. I mean, when I think about art direction stuff like that, the Batman Returns stuff sticks out to me way more than the original Batman stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, then there we go.
Let's do it.
So let's talk about something else now. Sorry, Dave. Are you trying to say something?
Oh, Hawkeye sucks.
We project the show.
Oh.
Oh yeah, we never got into Hawkeye.
Yeah, we didn't do Hawkeye. Oh, okay.
Well, because you didn't
watch it.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
Oh,
I'll tell you what. When we were in New Hope, we went to a comic book shop, and I was looking at the Fraction Run that this show is based on, Hawkeye with the Kate Bishop, and I'm looking at the book, and I'm like, oh, it's 45. We put it back. My girlfriend picked it up and bought it for me. So
that's cool.
Wow.
I like to know what you think of that because I really like that run. It's actually probably my favorite Matt Fraction book, to be honest with you.
Well, the thing is, I was thinking, I want to read this before I watch, but it's like I already watched the first 2 episodes.
So JD, you've already read what he's talking about? Because I don't know anything about Kate Bishop. Yeah. I just know that I hate her. But I would at least I'd at least like to give it some kudos for comic accuracy. So I guess I'd be interested to.
You sound like Dave and Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, little Dave and Spider-Gwen issues coming on here.
How could you hate Kate Bishop?
How could you hate Spider-Gwen?
Well, if we're not going to talk about it, the only thing I'll say is listen to the last Omega Level Nerd podcast, and I'll break it down why.
Yeah,
everyone on my podcast hates her, so I'm really
okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Ray was
on
it,
that
right?
episode. Yeah, I was on that episode. I was not a fan of Kate at all.
Wow,
bunch of misogynists here.
I'm gonna go.
I told you that. I told you that would be. See, I told him. I said, "Watch, people are gonna attack us for being like anti-woke or something." But no, I literally hate the character. Like you're a rich. I can't get into it. I mean, unless you want.
She is rich. That is the character.
She's a Batman female. Right? Oh, and then I'm going to train in archery and martial arts, and
that is the character of Kate Bishop. So I
don't like the character.
I get where you're coming from. That's the character though. Yeah, I get it.
She's
her
the
mother
Marvel,
is even worse.
She's the Marvel Green Arrow, right? She's
actually more like Marvel's version of Arrowette. To be quite frank.
Clint Barton is cool. Kate Bishop sucks. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, she's just annoying. I don't know, and maybe it's the boomer in me. Like she's just like she did nothing but create problems for Clint Barton. That's what this show is so far. Is watch this rich girl make problems for Clint Barton.
I don't think that's. I think that's okay. To be as a guy speaking as a guy who thinks creatively. Like I like those characters because they
at the same
story
time
engines.
you gotta have a freaking plot device. You know,
I think
is the plot.
I think you're missing the point of the story is that she wants to be a hero and she keeps messing up. So that's going to be her arc, and then eventually she'll be the hero at the end.
She doesn't want to be a hero. What makes you think that she wants to be a hero?
Because she wants to protect her family, like her father always wanted to.
How is that a hero? That's just protecting your family. That's not going out and fighting crime and the jumpsuit mafia and all them other people.
Wow.
Okay, we're gonna that.
Did the tracksuit mafia have anything to do with her family?
This is gonna.
No, she. Anyway,
I'm so glad they're in this show. To be honest,
yeah,
the tracksuit guys are great in the Fraction run. So this is
you've got to watch it. I think JD, I think you're going to really enjoy it. So
we'll talk about it next week. Okay, when we have
and Swordsman. I'm sorry, I just hate that character in general.
Swordsman's on the show. Oh, cool. I'm into it.
I mean, it looks like Wario, but yeah.
Well, to be fair, Swordsman is kind of like the Wario to Hawkeye. So
yes,
we couldn't remember his name when I was on Omega level.
When we were actually talking about it, I did not remember he was Swordsman. Her mother is insufferable. I hate her. I don't. Clint's the only character I like, and they're annoying the shit out of him. And I guess I'm just feeling.
But if we didn't have the people annoying Clint, we would just have the Hawkeye Christmas special where we would just open gifts.
And that's not good drama. You need people like those are story engines. Those are people like you need people that piss you off. They get the story moving.
That's the whole point of the story. Is he's trying to just enjoy his Christmas, and then things happen because she is a wannabe hero, and he gets sucked into it because of his connection, because of the Ronin suit. And
it was
so happened to be the greatest archer in the world. You meet your hero, who's also your greatest archers in the world, and you don't listen to a damn thing he said. It's the boomer. I get it.
That's the other thing. They made a point of showing she's not as good as Hawkeye yet. Like they made a point of that right in the beginning to show she's good, but she's not as good as him yet.
Like when she fell down, and he's just like, I felt that so much.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm excited.
I just think that they have a lot of fleshing out to do in the next 4 episodes.
And there's only 4 episodes left. So make me not hate your character in 4 episodes.
It's only 6 episodes altogether.
Right.
But they're like an hour long.
They pulled the same shit in Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They saved everything for the last 2 episodes. Bang bang. And then you were like, that was good. I'm hoping they can salvage this. Yeah. I'm really hoping. I mean, Loki kind of left you hanging, like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen next?" Here, I don't really care what's gonna happen next.
I was so bored.
I
was so angry. When I saw that the second episode was an hour long, I was like, "Oh."
I think we've beaten this can of worms here.
I don't want to. So there you go.
The can of worms
into a dead horse. So.
You opened up a dead horse.
When I watch a Hawkeye show, I want to see. Okay.
Yes,
when I watch
agree.
Loki, I want to see Loki. Okay. When I watch WandaVision, I want to see Wanda. Don't call it Hawkeye.
Ray, did you read the Fraction Hawkeye?
I have the trade somewhere. It's somewhere in this house. I swear it's somewhere.
So that was kind of what the
trade.
Fraction was too. Is he's just Clint, not really being Hawkeye.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of being a dude, dealing with like.
I mean, they've already established in the MCU he wants to retire. He doesn't want to keep doing
he's
this.
like deaf now.
He's Murtaugh.
He's gonna lose that hearing aid at some point. I'm telling you. And then Kate's gonna have to learn sign language.
That was an episode. They did an issue in sign language.
And of course, the villain or the main person pulling the strings is deaf and using sign language. So, well, the main person other than Swordsman. But
is it going to be Maya Lopez or Echo? Is that the villain?
Yeah, it is Echo, and she's getting
Echo. I haven't watched.
She's getting her own series too. She's going to have her own Marvel series.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm gonna give it a chance.
I don't know.
That's different. That's
Black
not.
Widow.
That's not
Black Widow was that mind blowing that we have to have an Echo series? Come on.
It was not mind blowing.
No, I watched the first 20 minutes and I'm like, I'll come back to it later. Guess what? That was a month.
You know
ago.
what? Red Guardian is a guilty pleasure of mine.
He's good. David Arbor's fun. David
was with the aggression.
I'd love to know. I would love to. There's another movie there of who the Red Guardian is fighting when he talks about fighting Captain America.
Yeah, because he obviously never did. Yeah.
Like, is he full of shit or is there another Captain America? And I feel like there's something we could dig into.
He could have fought Captain America because Captain America went back in time.
It could have been Captain America, or it could have been like in the MCU and the 616, excuse me. There's other Captain Americas,
right?
He's frozen. So there's a lot.
Well, we learned about one in Falcon and Winter Soldier, right?
Right. I mean, I love
Bradley. But there's also Jeff Mace, there's William Naslund, like there's Hate Monger, like there's a lot going on that they could tap into. I don't know. I'm curious. I'd like to see more of that. Scarlett Johansson, I'm done with her. Like I'm done with Natalia. She's done. Man,
I don't blame you there.
All right. Speaking of being done, I think that's a good place to put a pin in this conversation.
No, the pin was Superman's hair.
Oh my god.
And was in fact Superman's hair.
So on that note, let's go around and let's get some recommendations for our audience. And you guys can plug your shows one more time. And we'll start with you, Don.
Yeah, so recommendations. It's a little show on Netflix that I really like. I'm annoyed that there's not any seasons past season 3. It's Enter the Badlands.
I had a friend that worked on that show. He loved it.
Yeah, I really like that show a lot. I'm just upset and going slow because I know it doesn't continue. But I really do like that show a lot. So go check that out if you like sword fighting and apocalyptic worlds and that such. As far as my show, guys, yeah, Omega Level Nerds on YouTube. Just search Omega Level Nerds or go to Twitter and follow us at Omega Level Nerds. YouTube profile, YouTube link will be in the profile. And I got my own Twitter at DSquare72. Which you can find my comics and gaming boomer YouTube link on there as well. So check that out. I'm really just trying to get to 100 subscribers. So anyone that could help me do that, I'd very much appreciate it.
All right, Ray,
for a little brain podcast. The end. No,
he was on the last Omega Level Nerds podcast, so you can check him out there as well.
Yeah, I was on the last episode. Go check out Omega Level Nerds. We talk about Hawkeye. It was a lot of good fun. Actually, we had an entire episode after the episode, but we didn't record that. That was fun.
No, that was just us being kinfolk.
Indeed. So yeah, you can catch me on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you catch your podcast, man. If you like the Mystery Science 3000 type commentaries, then come on and have a little bit of fun. I'm always trying to be entertaining as a motherfucker. So definitely come by the Twitch channel at 8BitRay on the Twitch and watch me play games and make a fool out of myself. Love that too. Yeah, so catch me on Twitter at Gorilla Brain Pod and get at me if you have anything to say to me. I will reply. And I will make you cry.
Okay.
All righty then. JD, any recommendations?
Yeah, I was on over the weekend in one of the Facebook groups I'm in. Somebody posted the entirety of the WKRP in Cincinnati turkey drop.
Oh my god!
I hadn't seen it in probably 15 years, and I watched the episode again. Sweet Jesus, is that funny? Like I was in tears. It is.
We were talking about that over
Don't make them like
Thanksgiving
that
dinner.
anymore.
Dude, it is so. It's the show's like 40-some years old. It's still hilarious. So I went back and I watched a couple of them on YouTube and. Man, that show's aged great. WKRP in Cincinnati from the late 1970s. And then, That's my recommendation.
As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
Yeah. Every Thanksgiving, that the clip of that one scene gets passed around.
It does.
It still
does.
works.
It really does. It's hilarious. And the new WKRP in Cincinnati was really bad.
I didn't even know there was a new
doubt
one.
it.
They brought it back in the early 90s with French Stewart. It's abysmal. Don't watch that.
Okay. All right,
French
John.
Stewart is abysmal.
Yes, it is.
So two
Yes, look at my face.
Poor man's Gilbert Godfrey.
two anime recommendations. One is The World's Finest Assassin Gets Reincarnated in Another World. There you go, JD.
That's the whole title?
Yes.
I love this shit.
Yeah, it's about the world's finest assassin who finally gets killed and then gets reincarnated with a mission on another world with magic, and he gets to keep all of his original skills and memories. So like and train as an assassin in this other world too. So it's actually really, really good. The writing is good enough where you're like, basically the main character is doing everything you think you should do as that, to get everybody on your side and do what you need to do. So there's that one. And then there's The Faraway Paladin. That it's incredibly, it's one of the best written animes I've seen in a long time. And it's a very interesting premise. So I would go try that one out too.
All right. Well, I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews by our good friend D Square, and so much more. And I'll recommend Hawkeye, because we're definitely going to be talking about it some more next week.
Can we get another pick?
And I'm going to give a pre-recommendation.
Kids listen to this show, right?
What?
Kids listen to this show, right?
Yeah.
You're recommending Hawkeye to the kids. That's fucked up, Dave.
Oh,
it's good.
Oh.
Anyway, I also have a pre-recommendation because I haven't watched it yet. Get Back, the Beatles documentary, is available on Disney Plus streaming, and I will be watching that tomorrow since we're not recording. We're recording a day early, so tomorrow night I'll be watching that. And yes, I recommend checking it out. Oh, and probably you should catch up on the Batman movies because JD's all excited now. On that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening, and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.